On this week's episode of MATC Now, we'll explore two of the many excellent programs at MATC and take a look at some history. And stick around because you don't want to miss another delicious recipe from Chef BellaDee. All this and more coming up on MATC Now. Good morning and welcome back to MATC Now. I'm your host, Courtney Bondar, and today I'm joined by a very special guest, Joe Savage. Joe, how are you doing today?
Doing very well, Courtney.
Good. I'm pleased to have you here. Tell me about yourself and a little bit about what you do here at MATC.
Okay, so I come from Oak Creek. I have 3 children, and I'm an electricity instructor at the electricity department at MATC.
That's wonderful. We'll get back to you in a little bit to talk about the electricity program and more. But first, I want to join our field correspondent, Genesis Lopez, and see what she has in store for us.
Thanks, Courtney. We're at the Diverse Career Fair right now, and there's so much going on, so make sure to check back in with us in a little bit.
That looks interesting. I can't wait. But first, let's take a look at what student producer KJ Radetsky has learned while visiting the West Allis Historical Society. And we'll also join student producer Nalicia Lorenzana as she takes a look into the interior design program.
Industry, culture, and community. All things synonymous with Milwaukee, but few think of its connected neighbor, West Allis. A suburb that has been documenting and preserving its history at the West Allis Historical Society for several generations.
So the building that we're in now is built in 1887, and that's long before there even was a West Allis. At that time, this was part of the township of Greenfield, and this happened to be built in 1887 as a 2-room schoolhouse. So it served as a school up until the 1920s. And in the 1960s, we had a very progressive mayor and one who had a wife that was very interested in preserving West Allis history. And it was given to the Historical Society, although the city still owns the building, it was given to us to use as a museum. So the artifacts that you're going to see, we've been accumulating since about 1966, and that's when we incorporated as the West Allis Historical Society.
A unique story for a museum that normally has a more personal process for acquiring items for their equally unique displays.
We're happy to have just an eclectic collection of artifacts here. All of our artifacts here are donated, and by that I mean ours show up at the door. And it's usually family related, where families, 2nd, 3rd, sometimes 4th generation will have inherited something and have lost the emotional contact with that. So it comes down here and we're happy to take that. And by so doing, we have different and varied artifacts all over the museum.
They have also hosted themed events and parties on these historic grounds.
We did have for about 16 years an annual event called Settlers Weekend, where we filled the entire park with reenactors.
These large and appreciated events having a recent hiccup due to COVID.
Sorry to say that in most areas of life that COVID really hit. It did hit public places like museums, that people were not coming down here post-COVID as we thought they might.
However, he hopes that this continued intimate and community-focused approach to learning history will bring more attention to the museum.
This is all run by volunteers. Nobody here gets paid. We're happy that the city allows us to use the building.
Besides having the city help out wherever they can, Devin hopes to get the next generation interested in history as well.
We really encourage the younger generations to get involved because we will be leaving all this to them someday. So we do encourage different scout troops so that they can come down here. We then encourage, as those scouts age, to think of projects that they could work with our staff down here and actually work on these projects and attain the award of Eagle Scout. I just like to tell everyone to come on down, and I know that because we're all volunteer, we don't have the open hours that a lot of other community events and that would have. You could call us either on our phone to arrange a private tour if you need to come down, want to come down, but don't ever hesitate in trying to contact us, because we're all about community and about people, and that's what we celebrate here at the museum.
The interior design program allows students to use their creative eye. A current staff member, Mary, shines a light on the realities of interior design.
So as lead faculty and department chair, I not only teach classes throughout the entire program, but I also work with our staff on hiring, training, student advising, working the schedule, and staffing assignments.
Mary started her time at MATC as a student, then as a guest speaker due to her design skills, and now an instructor of many years.
So the interior design program at MATC is a 2-year associate's degree. Our students are exposed to classes beginning with basic fundamentals of interior design, the principles and elements of design, and just standard norms in the industry. And then we provide them more specific content on both residential design practices and commercial design practices. The capstone experiences for our students are a required internship working in the industry, as well as a portfolio show that allows them to create basically an interview-ready portfolio that they then present to a panel of professional designers.
Interior design is not all it's cracked up to be on TV. It takes a lot of hard work and dedication.
So some of the projects that our students have an opportunity to work on within the program are often classroom-based, but they can also be outside of the classroom with our Student Design Club. For instance, within the classroom, our commercial studio class partners with a local furniture dealership, National Business Furniture, and our students spend half of their time on site at that commercial office working with their designers alongside their designers, their salespeople, understanding the process it goes through to work on a professional commercial design project. Residentially, our students get excited to go on field trips to Parade of Home models and work on typically a small kitchen or bath project that is brought to us by a community member or a faculty from MATC. Outside of the classroom, two of the highlights of our program is a biannual trip to Paris. Every other year, we take a group of students to Paris for 10 days, and it's a great opportunity for them to see in real life the history of our industry, what they've been learning in the classroom. So in addition to taking in, the typical tourist sites, we also will explore a ceramic tile showroom, a custom wall covering factory. We'll go to an atelier of a designer living in Paris and follow them or shadow them for a morning or an afternoon to see what their work world looks like as opposed to ours. More locally or domestically, every spring we give students an opportunity to travel to High Point, North Carolina, to the High Point Furniture Market. It's an international show. It occurs twice a year, and our students have an opportunity to see the up-and-coming trends in residential furniture before they come to market.
Exploring model homes, traveling, and so much more, interior design has a lot in store for students.
I find history so interesting, and I'm also so fascinated by the West Allis Historical Society. They're really putting in the work to keep local history alive. Plus, what an informational look at the interior design program. Let's check back with Genesis to see what she's up to at the Diversity Career Fair.
Thanks, Courtney. Yes, we are here at the Career Fair. I have Naomi Pollack to talk about a little bit about the fair and the events that MATC has to offer to all the students here. So tell us a little bit about today's event.
Yeah, absolutely. So today we're hosting our Diversity Career Fair. We offer this every spring semester for our students, our alumni, and community members of MATC. And this is an opportunity for our students, community members, and alumni to find jobs, internships, apprenticeships, really whatever that next step is in their journey beyond MATC. In addition to the career fair this spring, we have them every semester, and we also offer panels, networking nights, and other ways that our students can connect with our employer partners here at MATC.
That's great. Can you share a little bit about what the Career Hub has to offer to students and the involvement with the career fairs?
Yeah, so here in the MATC Career Hub, we really serve students through finding them that next career opportunity through career fairs and events, but also provide career readiness assistance for students, career coaching so they can explore their skills and what they're good at, to really help them in that career journey process.
And can you express to us what's the difference between the diverse career fairs and the regular career fair?
Yeah, so the Diversity Career Fair is specifically designed to highlight companies that have diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives here in Milwaukee to retain a diverse workforce. We know that MATC students are a diverse group of students, and we want them to feel like they are joining an employer that invests in them.
That's great. And since we're right here, can you show us a little bit what these booths have to offer to students here?
Yeah, so today here at the fair, we have employers from every one of our pathways. We're going to just go through, I'll highlight a couple for you. So Delaware North, they do a lot of hiring for the Milwaukee Brewers, and so they're here today to highlight some of their opportunities that they might have available for us. We also have Ottawa Bingo and Casino. They're here to share opportunities that they have for jobs and internships in culinary as well as IT. The Bartolotta Group restaurants here as well to talk about their opportunities across their different restaurants. Walker's Point Youth and Family Centers are here to share their human services and community advocate positions and opportunities that they have for their students. And then lastly, we have a good partner in SAZs as they hire for events management, hospitality, as well as some of their business office positions. Aside from this being for our creative arts, media, and design area, as well as human services, we also have business and healthcare represented in the middle of the room, as well as our manufacturing, construction, transportation, and STEM at the back end of the room. So there are opportunities for every one of MATC's pathways here today. So students have a lot of opportunity that they can tap into at this career fair.
That's great. And how often can students look forward to these career fairs?
Yeah, so every spring we'll be here for the Diversity Career Fair, which is really great that they have that opportunity. But then we have pathway career fairs every fall as well. So we tell students come often, meet employers, network, and find whatever that next opportunity might be for them.
That's great. Thank you very much for being here with us today. And well, you guys already know, come to the career fairs and find more information. Back to you in the studios.
Wow, lots of great information for people looking to develop their career. Now let's take a look at student producer Isabella Degner's visit to the electricity program.
Hey Stormers, looking to spark joy? MATC's electrical department jumpstarts high-powered careers.
I've always had this interest in how things work. It used to drive my parents crazy, give me a new toy. First thing I would do is take it apart. It was a very easy fit for who I am and what I'm interested in.
That's Doug Malinsky, a master electrician and instructor at MATC. For all his experience, he still has the enthusiasm that he sees in his first-year students.
When they first start out, they get a combination of electrical theory and practical installation of pipe, wire, and cabling systems. As the students progress through our programs, then the theory becomes more intense. We start talking about how transformers work, how motors work, how the sun makes electricity, and then we give them the practical applications.
And that's just the technical diploma program. For those already working in this high-paying, highly competitive field, an apprenticeship might be what you're looking for.
The student is employed for the whole time of their apprenticeship, so they're getting school training from MATC while they're getting on-the-job training from their contractor. And then at the end of their apprenticeship, absolutely, the contractors are going to put them to work.
This work isn't for everyone. You can expect long days of heavy lifting in all seasons of weather and trigonometry. But career electricians aren't the only ones helped by this program.
Anyone that comes in is going to learn about electricity and, being able to fix things within their own house. They're certainly not going to lose anything, even if it isn't a fit, but I'm pretty sure they're going to find it's a pretty good fit for them.
If you're thinking of converting, take the entrance survey. With small class sizes and high retention rates, these classes fill up early. MATC's certification is so well revered that students who don't register on day one may have to be patient and try again next semester. So why apply? Our qualified instructors are worth the wait.
We're all field electricians that are now giving back to the community by training the future electricians. So our electrical department is stacked full of well-qualified electrical instructors, and that's what makes us the best.
That's some very insightful information about the electricity program here at MATC. And after learning about the program, I do have a few questions for you, Joe. Could you explain to me what kind of skills students can pick up in the program or in the industry of being an electrician?
Well, some of the skills that they can develop are going to be not only are you going to be using your body to install the stuff, but you also have to you're also going to be using your mind, because there's going to be it's a good combination of the two of them. There's a lot of project management. There's a lot of assembly and working with other trades as well. So a lot of coordination between the other trades help build the building.
Of course. And what kind of job opportunities can students look forward to when being in the course and learning these skills and gathering that trade? What could they see for their future? Well,
The electricity program is just a base where you can go. You can go in so many different directions nowadays. I mean, if we're talking in terms of like solar power, if you want to be one of the new installers of solar systems, there's been some government programs where what they're doing is that they're introducing different kinds of EV programs, so electrical vehicles.
Oh, that's
so
interesting.
there's going to be all kinds of places where there's going to be charging stations that are going to be installed throughout the country. So there's plenty of opportunity for that. Not only that, but we're also trying to make existing buildings very green and energy efficient. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of opportunities throughout the electricity program. And then not only is it for existing things, but also for new buildings as well.
Mm-hmm. And what's your role in the program?
I teach both apprentices, and I'm through the actual, I'm another instructor for the electricity diploma program.
And what's it like sharing your knowledge with the students here at MATC?
Oh, I think it's great. I've been doing this trade for over 20 years now, and it's one of those things where it's just nice to pass my information along and to just help people out. And I've always liked to explain things, and some people say I have a knack for it, so I just decided to take it up as a career.
And with that being said too, like what kind of skills are you bringing into your classroom to share with your students?
Well, I have quite a bit of, 20 years of experience. Also, I've seen a variety of different jobs. Another thing is that I've also worked for the city of Milwaukee, and I see a lot of the operations go along with trying to keep the city going as far as street lighting and other services like that.
That's amazing, and good for you for sharing your knowledge with the students and giving them a perspective, through your eyes and your knowledge. And I'm glad that students can look forward to that and coming into this class especially. So thank you so much for providing all that wonderful information about the electricity program and what you do here as well. And speaking of which, I smell something cooking in the kitchen, Joe. So let's head over and see what tasty recipe Chef BellaDee has in store for us this morning.
Courtney. Since we're celebrating St. Patrick's Day, let's show Stormers one of the easiest ways to start their day off with the pantry staple that Ireland is most known for: oven roasted potatoes and scrambled eggs. Now, I've got about 5 of these little baby red potatoes here. They're kind of small, so grab however many you think you're hungry for. Same for the eggs. I've got 3. And for your herbs and seasonings, you get to pick what you want, but we're gonna go with garlic, rosemary, paprika, turmeric, and of course, always some salt and pepper. We've even got a seasoning blend that puts our garlic into the salt. And we've got corn oil to cook everything in. And we've got a couple different utensils. There is, of course, a pan to put our potatoes in, some aluminum foil to save a little bit of cleanup at the end. We've got a spatula that isn't going to scrape up our nice nonstick pan. And we've got a couple of different spoons and things to put everything together, a whisk for our eggs, and a bowl to put our eggs in. And of course, can't forget a plate to eat off of and some oven mitts so that you're not burning your hands, because our oven has been preheated to 450 degrees. So we gotta get something to put in that oven though. So let's cut up our potatoes. Now, you wanna make sure that your knife is very sharp, because if you cut with a dull knife, it's really easy to just kind of use too much force and cut your fingers off. So make sure that your wrist is nicely planted, get your fingers out of the way, and use your sharp knife and cut down smoothly like that. And we're cutting into kind of like 1/2 inch, a little under 1 centimeter, little baby pieces, because smaller things cook faster, and I am lazy. So we've got, you know, just some little chunk of potato. This isn't anything too fancy, and so don't worry about making it fancy. You're the only one eating this breakfast, and so you're the only one judging it. If you want your potato to be super, super precise, you can make it super, super precise and perfect. But if you're tired and you just want some quick potato, then just chop them. And that's potato chopped. As you can see, there are some very interesting different pieces here that will cook at very different times. These big chunks will take a little bit longer to cook than these tiny little crispy ones, but I kind of like some tiny little crispy ones. So let's get all of our potatoes here together. And we actually already have some of our oil and seasoning in here. For potatoes, classic is garlic and rosemary, and that's what we've got here. Salt and pepper, of course, and just enough oil to get them nice and glazed. And that should get them nice and crispy without, you know, just kind of leaving them greasy. So we're gonna put these into our tray. And you wanna make sure that they aren't kind of on top of each other or anything. You wanna break them up so that they all get to feel that 450-degree air and toast up nice and golden there. And then we're gonna put these in for about 20 minutes, and we'll check back on them after we've got our eggs. But so, for those eggs, here I've got 3 in a bowl, and this is a perfect time to add in all of your seasonings. So we got a little bit of salt, and a little bit of pepper, if I can get into it with these fancy little nails. Nails aren't worth it, food's worth it. But the nice thing about nails and things is that you get to kind of pinch off, and that is a good tip for seasoning your eggs. You wanna use about a pinch of salt per egg, which is a little harder to do in the seasoning jar and kind of shaker situation, which is why a lot of pro cooks have salt wells where they have a tiny little dish, and then they get to pinch out however much salt that they want instead of shaking it, because it's a lot easier to feel how much salt you're grabbing than to feel how much salt is that coming out of a container. It's real nice to just have that sensory reaction. And so as you can see, it's kind of a light whisk on my eggs there, and there's still little bits of white and everything within them. The more you whisk, the more consistent of an egg mixture you'll get. So if you don't like having those little bits of egg white in your scrambled eggs, you wanna make sure to whisk really, really hard to get rid of all that. And now I'm just adding about a tablespoon of my canola oil to my nonstick pan over here. And I have my pan here at temperature degree 6 on this oven, which is, you know, medium high. But every oven's different, and the best way to know how hot it is to feel how hot it is with your hand. And if you can feel that heat, then your eggs should react when you put them in, just like that little sizzle we got there. And so once they're going, they cook pretty damn quickly. You want to stir continuously and make sure to scrape off all these little bits where you can see that the egg's already cooked, and get it in there to the raw stuff. And just keep stirring, just keep stirring. You do want to stop your pan just a little bit before they're done, because that heat will carry over. So Let's turn our pan off, and we'll let that sit there and keep cooking while we grab our potatoes from the oven. And let's get those nice and plated up. See how crispy and golden brown they are? And they're even sticking to the pan a little bit. That's how you know you've got some real crispness going on. And so we've got a lovely pile of potatoes right there. That's hot. Let's not put it on the counter. And as you can see now, we turned our pan off, but the heat kept going, and our eggs have finished off pretty nicely into a soft scramble. And we get to add those in right there. And that's breakfast. Back to you in the studio.
Huh, what a simple yet tasty looking meal. I'm gonna have to try that myself. Now let's join Courtney for the MATC Minute and see what events are ahead.
Preparing for an interview? Check out MATC's Interview Success Workshop Tuesday, March 21st from noon to 1, led by an employer partner and Career Hub team member to give tips for your next interview. Students who pre-register will be entered to a raffle to win prizes. Have you ever wanted to chat with MATC President Vicki J. Martin Tuesday, March 14th at 11:30 a.m. at the West Allis MATC Campus Cafe? Dr. Martin will be available for an informal meeting and chat. Want to get your nails done and help a student get experience at the same time? The MEC1 Nail Technology Student Salon is open on Tuesdays and Wednesdays from March 22nd to May 10th, offering services like manicures and pedicures. Reminder that MATC Day is Wednesday, March 15th, meaning all MATC campuses will be closed, including food services. Celebrate Pi Day with the Academic Life Coaching Team Tuesday, March 14th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. in the Student Lounge on the second floor of the C Building. There will be sweets and treats along with plenty of snacks to go around.
Thanks, Courtney. Let's see what producer Leslie Garcia has found for this episode's Hidden geMKE.
Hello, lovely people and coffee lovers. I'm student producer Leslie Garcia, here to present you another Hidden geMKE. Anodyne Coffee and Roasting Company has been supplying fresh roasted coffee for the people in Milwaukee since 1999. They ground all the beans in-house so the rich smell of coffee hits you as soon as you walk through the door. Their roastery is located in Walker's Point, but their coffee comes from all around the world like Mexico, Costa Rica, Honduras, and Rwanda. In addition to their coffee, they serve different assortments of drinks while hosting live events most Fridays and Saturday nights, from local Milwaukee artists who are able to showcase their talents to the community. Dip, stress, get blessed, and stay coffee obsessed. I'm student producer Leslie Garcia, and this has been another Hidden geMKE.
Oh, I love Anodyne coffee. I'll have to grab a coffee sometime today. But unfortunately, that's all the time we have left for today's episode. Thank you, Joe, once again for joining me today.
My pleasure, Courtney.
Of course, and thank you for tuning in to another great episode of MATC Now. I'm your host, Courtney Bondar, and I'll see you March 27th.